The first thing I remember is the smell. Sterile. Sharp. Like alcohol wipes and something colder, something final. I was sitting on the edge of the examination table, paper crinkling beneath me, my palms sweating so badly they left damp prints on my jeans. My mother stood near the door, arms folded. My father wouldn't even look at me. And the doctor, he was adjusting his glasses, scanning a clipboard like I wasn't even in the room. "This is for your own good," my father had said earlier, his voice flat. "You need help." Help. That word echoed in my skull as the doctor prepared the syringe. I stared at the needle. My heart pounded so hard I thought it might rupture through my ribs. I wanted to run. I wanted to scream that I wasn't sick, that trying on my sister's dresses in secret didn't mean I needed fixing. That standing in front of the mirror at night, wrapping fabric around my body and imagining softer curves and gentler lines, that wasn't a disease. But my throat felt sealed shut. The doctor swabbed my arm. "This will begin hormonal adjustment therapy," he said calmly. "We'll monitor changes carefully." Hormonal adjustment. The words felt clinical. Detached. But I knew what they meant. My parents had found the box under my bed. The wigs. The makeup. The carefully folded skirts. My hidden world, exposed in a single, devastating moment. And now this. The needle slid in. A strange warmth bloomed beneath my skin. Not painful. Just invasive. I didn't know then that this moment would split my life in two, the before and the after. And I definitely didn't know that the after would change me in ways none of us were prepared for. At first, nothing seemed different. I went back to work on Monday like usual. Same cubicle. Same stale coffee smell drifting from the break room. Same polite nods from co-workers. But I felt different. Or maybe it was fear. Every time someone looked at me, I wondered if they knew. If my parents had told anyone. If somehow the secret was stamped across my forehead. 2 weeks passed before the changes began. It started subtly. My skin felt softer. I noticed it while washing my hands in the restroom at work. The fluorescent lights reflected off the mirror, and I paused, rubbing my fingertips along the back of my hand. Had it always been that smooth? "Hey, you okay?" my co-worker Daniel asked, stepping up beside me. I jerked my hand away. "Yeah. Just tired." He studied me for a second. "You look different. New haircut." I hadn't cut my hair. That night, I stood shirtless in my bedroom, staring at myself in the mirror. My chest looked the same. My shoulders still broad. But something in my face, something was shifting. My jaw didn't seem as harsh. My skin had a faint glow. It terrified me. And yet, I couldn't look away. Another injection. Then another. My mother drove me to every appointment. She didn't speak much during those car rides. Just tight-lipped silence and the faint hum of the engine. One evening, about a month in, I overheard my parents arguing. "This isn't working fast enough," my father muttered. "He still acts." "Lower your voice," my mother hissed. I pressed my ear against my bedroom door. "We're doing what we can," she continued. "The doctor said it takes time." Time. Time for what? For me to become someone else? Or for them to feel less ashamed? The physical changes became undeniable by the second month. My chest tingled constantly. A dull, persistent sensitivity that made even the brush of fabric feel electric. I avoided tight shirts. Avoided eye contact. Avoided mirrors. But late at night, when the house was quiet, I would lock my door and look. My waist seemed narrower. My hips, were they wider? I turned sideways, heart racing. This wasn't supposed to happen. Was it? I didn't fully understand the science. I just knew hormones reshaped things. Softened edges. Rewrote blueprints. One night, unable to resist, I pulled out the one dress my parents hadn't found, the one I'd hidden inside an old backpack in the closet ceiling panel. My hands trembled as I slipped it on. The fabric hugged me differently now. Before, it had felt like a costume. A fantasy draped over a body that didn't quite cooperate. Now, it fit. I stared at my reflection. My chest curved slightly against the thin material. My waist dipped inward. My face, softer. My eyes seemed larger somehow, framed by longer lashes I hadn't noticed growing. A rush of heat flooded through me. This wasn't shame. It wasn't fear. It was recognition. Oh my God, I whispered to the empty room. For the first time, I didn't feel like I was pretending. I felt like I was seeing myself. But daytime was still a battlefield. At work, whispers started. Have you lost weight? One coworker asked. Are you using new skincare? Another joked. Daniel cornered me near the printer one afternoon. Seriously, what's going on? You're glowing. I forced a laugh. Maybe I switched detergents. Inside, my mind was spiraling. I started wearing looser clothes. Light jackets even when it wasn't cold. I practiced lowering my voice, trying to keep it steady, though I swore it cracked higher sometimes without my permission. And then came the first real panic. I was in a meeting when I felt it, an ache in my chest. Not painful. Just pressure. I excused myself and rushed to the restroom. Locking myself in a stall, I pressed my hands against my chest through my shirt. There was no denying it anymore. I wasn't flat. I slid my phone out and turned on the camera, angling it discreetly under the stall's dim light. My breath caught. Small. But visible. Tears stung my eyes. This was supposed to be punishment. So why did it feel like a gift? The secret exploration became less about rebellion and more about discovery. I ordered clothes online, nothing too bold at first. Soft sweaters. Slim jeans from the women's section in neutral colors. I told myself they were unisex. When the packages arrived, I'd wait until everyone was asleep. The first time I applied makeup after the hormones started working, it felt different. My skin absorbed foundation more smoothly. Blush sat naturally on my cheeks instead of looking painted on. I leaned closer to the mirror, applying mascara with careful strokes. Who are you? I murmured to my reflection. And the reflection seemed to whisper back, me. I practiced speaking softly, letting my voice rise instead of forcing it down. At first it felt fake. But gradually, it felt effortless. I began taking photos. Just for me. Different outfits. Different hairstyles. I watched my transformation unfold frame by frame. There was fear, yes. But there was also excitement. Every morning, I'd wake up and notice something new. My arms slimmer. My body hair thinning. My features gentler. And with each change, a strange calm settled inside me. Maybe this wasn't something being done to me. Maybe this was something unlocking within me. The first time I stepped outside dressed fully as myself, it was a Saturday afternoon. My parents were out of town. The house was silent. I stood in the hallway wearing a knee-length beige dress, a light cardigan, and low heels that clicked softly against the floor. My hair, now longer and naturally softer, framed my face in loose waves. My heart was hammering so loudly I thought neighbors might hear it. This is insane, I whispered. But I opened the door anyway. The sunlight hit my face, warm and blinding. Every step toward the sidewalk felt like walking a tightrope. I expected someone to shout. To laugh. To point. No one did. An elderly woman across the street smiled at me as she checked her mail. Good afternoon, she said kindly. My voice wavered. Good afternoon. She didn't blink. Didn't hesitate. Just smiled and went back inside. I nearly cried right there on the pavement. I drove to a small cafe across town, somewhere I knew I wouldn't run into anyone familiar. When the barista asked for my name, I froze. Who was I? The name I'd whispered to myself for years floated up. Lena, I said softly. She wrote it on the cup without question. When she called it out, Lena. My entire body lit up. That was me. Confidence grew in fragile increments. Small outings turned into longer ones. Grocery stores. Bookshops. A walk in the park. Some people stared. Some did double takes. But no one confronted me. I started noticing how I carried myself differently. My posture shifted. My movements softened. Not exaggerated, just natural. Inside, the anxiety was still there, coiled tight. What would happen when my parents saw how much the therapy had changed me? What would happen at work? The answer came sooner than I expected. One morning, my father knocked on my bedroom door without waiting for permission. I was standing in front of the mirror, wearing a fitted blouse and jeans from the women's section. My hair brushed my shoulders. There was no hiding the curve of my chest anymore. He stopped cold. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. This he began, voice shaking. This wasn't the goal. I swallowed. What was the goal? To fix you. The word sliced through me. I wasn't broken, I said quietly. He stared at me like he didn't recognize me. Maybe he didn't. My mother appeared behind him, eyes wide. You look, she whispered. Happy. I offered. Silence. The confrontation escalated that night. My father demanded we stop the therapy. Claimed it had gone too far. But I surprised even myself. No, I said, my voice steady. Higher than it used to be, but steady. I want this. The room felt charged, like a thunderstorm seconds from breaking. You don't know what you're saying, he snapped. I do, I replied. For the first time in my life, I do. Tears streamed down my mother's face. We thought we were helping you, she said. You were, I whispered. Just not in the way you expected. Work found out soon after. There were rumors. Whispers. Someone saw me outside the cafe one weekend and connected the dots. HR called me in. I expected judgment. Reprimand. Maybe termination. Instead, the woman across the desk folded her hands and said gently, "How would you like us to address you?" My throat tightened. "Lena," I said. She smiled. "Okay, Lena." Just like that. Daniel approached me later that day. He looked nervous. "I didn't know," he admitted. "But, you seem happier." "So, I'm happy for you." It wasn't perfect. Some co-workers avoided me. Some stayed. But others surprised me with quiet support. The real turning point came at a family dinner. Extended relatives. Curious eyes. I wore a simple navy dress. Minimal makeup. I wasn't trying to shock anyone. When I walked in, conversation halted. My father looked uncomfortable. My mother squeezed his hand. I stood tall. "This is who I am," I said before anyone could speak. I didn't choose this to embarrass anyone. I chose it to survive. My voice trembled, but I didn't look away. An aunt I barely spoke to stepped forward. "You look beautiful," she said softly. And just like that, the tension cracked. Not everyone approved. Not everyone understood. But I was done shrinking. The final injection appointment felt different. I sat on the same examination table as months before. The same sterile smell. But this time, I wasn't afraid. The doctor reviewed my chart. "You've responded strongly to treatment." "I know," I said, smiling faintly. "Do you wish to continue?" I thought about the mirror. About Lena. About the first time my name was called in that cafe. "Yes," I said without hesitation. The needle slid in again. But this time, the warmth that spread through me didn't feel invasive. It felt like confirmation. Today, when I look in the mirror, I don't see a secret. I don't see shame. I see a woman who emerged from fear. From misunderstanding. From a family trying to fix something that was never broken. They still struggle sometimes. We all do. But they are learning. And I'm living. If you're watching this and hiding a piece of yourself in a box under your bed, I see you. Sometimes the world will try to force you into something. Sometimes it will accidentally push you toward who you were meant to be. Either way, your truth has a way of rising.